Hi, I'm Jay. I'm here today with the Andrew White Guitars Freja 1002J. I believe it's pronounced Freja. It could be Freja. I've heard it different ways, but it could be Freja because once you play one, I'm afraid you're going to want to buy it. That's silly, but anyway, it's a really cool guitar. The J stands for Jatoba, which is the wood that this is made of. It's a wood that's a lot like rosewood, but easier to source. Rosewood's becoming harder and harder to source for guitar makers, and Jatoba is a good alternative to that. That's very similar in the sound that it'll produce and even the look of it to an extent. So this one is actually all solid Jatoba. The top, the sides, and the back are all solid wood, which is really cool. So we're going to take a look at the details on this guitar with some close-up video that I shot earlier today. So let's get started. I won't bore you now with all the technical specifications of everything, because all that can be found on Andrew White's website, andrewwhiteguitars.com. I particularly love the binding on this guitar because you've got the dark wood of the Jatoba, and then the curly maple binding is really beautiful. There's also a third wood in there, and I'm not sure exactly what that is. It looks maybe like a cedar color wood or something. And I haven't looked that up, sorry, but it is just pretty, know that. Here's some looks at it. You also notice that the binding is very clean, very sharp lines where the binding's installed, which sometimes isn't always the case. There's also a binding that's also wood on the fretboard, which is covering the fret ends. The fret work on this guitar is just excellent from the factory. The ends are well rounded, very comfortable to play. Nothing is sticking up or sharp to the touch. Very nice fret job on it. The tuners are very reliable, easy to turn. They do hold their tune quite well. The headstock has a black face to it with the Andrew White logo, which is very simple and nice. It's set in a pearl finish there. The rosette, something that Andrew White really seems to enjoy doing is designing really cool rosettes. While a lot of other guitars might have a simple some lines here of inlaid material or abalone, which he does use that also on a lot of the guitars. But in this case, it's a really cool pattern of just different woods that is very unique. It's just really pretty also. Nice job there. The fretboard is Pau Ferro, and it's a really nicely finished fretboard. The back of the neck is a satin finish, which makes it really nice to play. Very smooth. Your thumb glides on it. Really nice and comfortable to play. The bridge pins on this guitar are actually really nice. They're almost like there's a brass little circle with a inlay in the middle of that appears to be either a pearly material or an abalone type material, and then the pin itself. So those are really cool. I've actually not seen any exactly like that before. So the Freja I see as a really good all-around guitar. It works well on stage with the pickup system that's in it. It's got an Artec pickup system in it because the Andrew White guitars, at least all of them that I know of, are made in Korea, which is, great place to make guitars. But Artec is a great company. They make a lot of the electronics, but they also make these acoustic guitars for Andrew White, and they're doing a great job, I think, as you saw in the details that we showed. The preamp that's in these guitars is pretty cool. It's one that's inside the sound hole here, so it takes a little getting used to doing the control, but once you learn where the buttons are, you can do it without looking, and that makes it a lot easier. So you've got a microphone in here on a little gooseneck, which is really cool, that comes off the preamp, and then you've also got your normal under saddle pickup here. There's a blend control that lets you blend how much of the mic you get and how much of the bridge pickup you're going to get. There's of course also a volume control on the preamp, which is easy to get to. It's the first thing inside the sound hole. There is also a phase switch to be sure that your phase is correct for the rest of your system. There's also a button here to test the battery. Get a red light, make sure that battery's okay. Something else that's nice, there is a bass boost button. So if it, maybe whatever system you're playing through might be sounding a little thin, you kick that in and it really enhances the bass end of the sound. There's also a button for an acoustic amp simulator. So that button's going to give you some of the little beefier sound that you might get when you're using an acoustic amp as compared to how you're just plugging directly into a board. When I perform, I do just plug into my board, so it's nice to have that feature because it does flesh it out a little bit more like an acoustic amp would, as opposed to having it just be a little too pure.